So we want to welcome, first of all, welcome everybody to IGTV. And this is our monthly fraud briefing. All right, with us today is Eleanor Spring of Spring Action Fraud Elimination. And we want to welcome you onto the program once again, Eleanor, because we didn't record it before.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right. The topic for today is POA, point of sale skimming devices, target card readers. Why don't you get into that just a little bit, Eleanor, so we can get that for our on-demand audience.
Okay. For those of you who didn't hear what I just said, talking about point of sale devices. What point of sale devices are whenever you go into a bank, a gas station, anywhere you put your card in those little slots, or you swipe it when you go to a supermarket or a department store, those are point of sale devices. And what they do is when you swipe your card, they capture all your information, they verify it as you, and therefore you can get into your system at the bank, you can check your banking, your checking, whatever it may be, savings. The fraudsters, what they are doing today is they are fashioning devices that have magnetic strips on them. So when you go into the bank or the gas station or anywhere else and you put your card in, your information is being captured. And what happens there is they capture your information and they send it out to other fraudsters who are working in conjunction with them. And within minutes, your personal information or your banking information can be sent all over the world. It's happening more and more every day. The Secret Service is telling us that roughly $350,000 is stolen on a daily basis through these point-of-sale devices.
And I think it's interesting to note that, while you're talking about one type of theft, we at InfraGard have found out through a CBS interview not so long ago how RFID chips installed on some of the credit cards today can be read by people from distances as far as 5 feet, 10 feet away. Mm-hmm. All right. And it's a specific chip that is put on credit cards, and I'd show everybody if I had mine out there right now, but I don't have my credit card with me. But there's a little design on the back of the credit card that says you actually have the chip on the credit card. So that's kind of interesting that that's out there. You're talking about one type of fraud. Mm-hmm. We found out through RFID there's another kind of opening on that magnetic strip as well. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things to be concerned about. You wrote in a report to me not so long ago, Eleanor, that Global ATM Security Alliance estimates that skimming costs the U.S. banking industry about $60 million a year. That's incredible. Can you tell me how that's kind of accomplished? So like a false card slot is attached to the original card?
What it is they fashion a card slot similar to the ones that are put in the banks and the other credit card acceptance devices. What they do is some of them are really good. Some of them are fit like a glove. You would not even know it if you saw it. Others are an awkward shaped thing that just stands out, doesn't belong there. But like most people in the world, myself included, when we go into ATMs or we go shopping or whatever it may be, we don't really pay much attention to it. We swipe our card, as long as it goes through and we can get on with our life, that's it. But we really, really need to start paying more attention to these things because it's so widespread and so many people are becoming victims of identity theft because of it. The companies are losing millions of dollars, as we just spoke about. Some of them look like a square box that's put over these devices. Now that's pretty obvious it doesn't belong there. What we should learn to do is be more aware of our surroundings. When you walk into one of these places, just kind of check around. Is the lights too low? Is it too dark in here? Does the machine look a little bit different from I remember the last time? If there's a card holder, you should try to block that as best you can, or just walk out and find another place.
No, that's good. And you had mentioned that as an example, the Stop and Shop supermarket in Quincy, Mass, said that some of its customers' credit and debit card numbers were stolen due to tampering with EFT pin pads at 2 checkouts in Rhode Island stores.
That's correct. That's correct. If we think about how many times we go to a supermarket on a regular basis, I don't think to look what I'm doing. I swipe my card. But again, this is something we have to be careful of. If it doesn't look exactly right, maybe it looks a little broken on, you know, a little banged up or whatever, go to another place. Go to another cash register, because generally something can be wrong there.
Yeah, and you mentioned how not to become a victim of POS scams, which is kind of important too. You want me to go over those, or do
Yes.
you want to, or do you want to do those?
I'll do them.
Okay.
Basically, it's just what I said. Be aware of your surroundings. Watch what's going on. If if your gut is telling you something isn't right, don't do it. Walk away. Don't swipe your card. Just walk away from it. Again, I know I swipe my cards. I don't think about it, and I'm a fraud investigator, so I should be thinking about it all the time. But in our busy lives, we don't think about it. But you know, if you see something that doesn't look right, move away. Don't swipe your card.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for terminal tampering. That's a big deal. You know, one of the things, my kids like a certain fast food company, and we went into the establishment, and they took my credit card and they swiped it underneath the counter. And I made a point of telling the guy, I said, you know what? I said, if you want me to come back into the store and buy anything, you're going to put that swipe, you know, above the counter where I can see it, not below the counter, you know, where I don't know if you're double swiping it or what you're doing to it. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, that's another form of the skimming device, yeah.
Yeah. Signs to watch for include unusual looking card slots, plastic overlays on pin pads, or the appearance of damage. And this is all coming out of Eleanor Spring, who is our guest today from Spring Action Fraud Elimination. All right, Eleanor. Anything else you want to go through today?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on what's called flash attacks.
Okay.
Only because it's got to do with credit cards, so I figured I'd put that in there while I had a few moments. What flash attacks are, and it's becoming more and more dominant in the world. What it is you get a bunch of criminals who coordinate these things. And they're all around the world, and they have their Bluetooth or their wireless devices, and so they can communicate with each other and kind of coordinate everything all at the same time. And what they do is they will walk into a bank, go to the ATM machine, all simultaneously they do this. So it messes the banks up, they don't know what's going on. But they all go into banks at the same time, and they take out small amounts of money, so it's under the radar, so it's not caught right away. And they coordinate this, they all take money at the same time, and it moves around the world so fast that nobody knows what's happening. That is becoming more and more popular every day. The banks are scrambling, they don't know who's doing what, where, or when, because everything's happening all at once. So that's a very big issue today.
Thank you, Eleanor, and we certainly appreciate you coming on the program today. We look forward to next month, where we'll be talking about fraud and terrorism linked. Hang on just 1 second. Can Eleanor clarify how and where cameras are placed at ATM terminals to capture your data?
Yes. As I said years ago when the ATMs first started coming up, we all noticed that they had little pamphlet holders on the side of the wall within the structure of where the ATM machine was. So you walked into the ATM machine area, you swiped your card. We never noticed, we never pay attention to the pamphlets that are on the side, or if we do, we take one and we leave. Inside these little pamphlet holders, that's where they put the micro cameras. So when you walk in to use the machine, it could be on your left, it could be on the right side of the wall, but the cameras are there. So what I like to do now is, if I have to use an ATM machine, I'll take all the pamphlets out, just to make sure I don't see any small devices, any wires, anything out of the ordinary. If I don't see anything, I'll put everything back, and I'll still make sure my back is to that pamphlet holder before I swipe my card.
All right, Eleanor, thank you very much. And that came off our chat line, so there are people listening out there wanting to know what's going on. We appreciate it. Eleanor Spring from Spring Action Fraud Elimination. We'll see you next month, Eleanor. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.